these nuts?
Alright, this is the run. Hey, what's up? Today's video is going to be talking about tiered obbies and how they're super cool and awesome and how you should check them out. Hey, wait a minute, no, not right now. You gotta watch my video first. My channel is still dying, you know? I need views. Come on. Anyways, what do you think when you hear the word obby? You probably think of 5,000 level mega easy fun unicorn shit obby, or escape Jeffrey Epstein's dungeon obby, and I can understand that. However, what if I told you there were obbies out there that were good, and actually challenging, and fun?
Oh my God.
Well, they exist, in the form of tiered obbies. Now you've probably already booked me into the nearest insane asylum or 4chan for saying that, but seriously hear me out. If you don't know what a tiered obby is, allow me to explain. Basically, tiered obbies are mostly short, no checkpoint obstacle courses, each having a tier. The lower the tier, the easier the obby is, and for each tier there's 3 sub-tiers, I guess you can call them, which I'll explain real quick. Baseline is a bit too hard for the previous tier, peak is slightly too easy for the next tier, and mid is basically the tier's reference. It's the middle ground. I may have gotten those terms wrong since it's been a while, but whatever. The vast majority of tiered obbies take advantage of Roblox's all-powerful jank and turn them into actual mechanics. A few include trust flicks and wall hops. They also don't have anything along the lines of weird power-ups or sprinting. It's just basic Roblox moves, which means that your tiered obby skills can translate into quite a lot of other games. Despite the community being quite small and niche, there's quite a lot of tiered obbies out there. I've been playing tiered obbies since sometime around October of 2021, and I've seen a ton of weird and cool obbies, most of which being in tiers 2 through 4 because I'm bad and can only beat obbies in those tiers, with some exceptions. Some of my personal favorite obbies include the Sun Above, Daydream Valley, Land of Amethyst, and Summer Valley, just to name a few. All of these obbies are pretty unique and well made. You won't be seeing bland, repetitive gray levels all too often, if at all. Now let's talk about each of these 4 obbies mentioned in detail to see what makes them enjoyable in the order I listed them off. The Sun Above is fairly short and not too difficult, but it has probably the best atmosphere out of any tiered obby I've ever played, and its gameplay is pretty fun. Daydream Valley is pretty basic in terms of looks, but its gameplay is pretty unique and it's decently challenging the first time around. Land of Amethyst is one of the most unique tiered obbies I've ever played. It has its own story, although it's quite basic since you just have to protect some big crystal. Its own mechanics like slippery ice and platforms you can make appear with buttons, and fairly unique level design, along with it being the most aesthetically pleasing obby I've ever seen. And also it has checkpoints, just felt I had to point that out. And lastly there's Summer Valley, which I really just like the look of. Tiered obbies are one of the last places where you can find consistently cool and unique creations other than random games from 2017 that only peak at around 100 players. However, I should state that tiered obbies aren't really for everyone. They're a niche sub-genre for a reason. A lot of them require precise movements, patience, and trial and error. Of course, this is less and less of an issue the lower down the tiers you go, but there's a lot of movement tech you'll have to learn in order to complete most obbies above tier 1. I won't really be going into detail about how to perform any sort of movement tech. This isn't a guide, it's just an introduction. However, I can lead you to some helpful videos and games that can help you. The links will be in the description. I know I made it sound pretty daunting, but it's really not as bad as it sounds, and once you get into it, it's pretty fun. Now if you're curious about which tiered obbies to start with or how to find tiered obbies, and I've got you covered, there's a game called New Lobby Tiered Obbies, most recognizable by its thumbnail, which I'll show on screen right now. It's basically a hub world that leads to a bunch of different obbies up to tier 20. I think the best tiered obbies to start with are Cavernous Elixir and Gas to the Generation. If you're willing to put in some effort, tiered obbies are a really fun break from regular Roblox. That's enough tips and stuff, because once again, the point of this video isn't to be a guide, but to spread awareness of tiered obbies and talk about why I like them, even though this video probably won't get more than 400 views, because it's my channel. Though, hopefully this video was able to sell more people in Tiered Obbies, since it's a pretty underrated and niche sub-genre on Roblox, and it's a really fun change of pace from the rest of the platform. It's one of the only times where it's actually a good thing that Roblox hasn't fixed how janky this game's engine is, since it'd basically get rid of an entire community. But Roblox never really fixes anything in the first place, so there's no need to actually worry. Sorry this video was so short and took forever to make, but it was extremely difficult finding things to talk about so that this video would last longer than 3 minutes. If you enjoyed this short departure from the rest of my content, then leave a like and comment, it'd be highly appreciated. And if you have any favorite tiered obbies, let me know in the comments.